Hi everyone. So I wanted to start off with something really unique and really cool, and a movie that surprisingly not a lot of people have heard of despite its massive classic horror star power, and it's House of the Long Shadows. And House of the Long Shadows stars Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing and John Carradine. And those are four big names, three of which I really love in the classic horror genre. Like, these guys were huge in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and have a massive library of horror collaborations they've done with each other. But to my knowledge, this is the only movie that has all three of those big actors that I like in one movie. And I was excited to find this on Blu-ray. And the film follows an author who bets with his publisher and editor that he can write a novel in 24 hours. And they wager a certain large sum of money, and he says, well, I need a place to go do it. And his publisher says, there's this house that's empty. You can go there. You won't be disturbed. And the author travels out there, and it turns out that there are these individuals that keep showing up to the house for some sort of event. And his writing process gets interrupted, and he finds out that these guys are there for some sort of family reunion, and people start dying. Yeah, and they're trying to figure out who the killer is, and that's basically like the meat of the movie. The story, I love this setup. I mean, maybe because I'm an author, I'm a sucker for stories about other writers. I thought the actor that played the author was very good. He did a solid job sitting next to these legends essentially, and that's another thing I just ate up about this movie. I mean, even if the movie around it wasn't that great, which thankfully it was, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and Vincent Price play wonderfully off each other. I mean, that's no surprise. They've all been in movies with each other before, and they're obviously friends. But this is their first and only big collaboration together, and it's just, you have to wonder how much of it is improvised, and it's just they play off each other so well, and that's my favorite part of the movie, is just watching these guys do this fun little movie. And it's surprising in a way that this would be the project they would decide to collaborate on. However, if it was if it was a bigger movie with a bigger story and a bigger budget, I think that they would get lost. Whereas having them in this smaller budget, confined area that is a throwback to a lot of their earlier films is fitting in a lot of ways. It plays a lot to their strengths, and it's just all this dialogue that would be silly if spoken by anybody else is brilliantly and masterfully done by these three legends. And I keep calling them that because that's what they are. There aren't any more actors that have this aura to them, and have this grace and this sort of seriousness that they bring to these silly lines and these silly horror movies, but you totally buy it. So my favorite line in the movie is when Vincent Price shows up and the author is like, who the heck are you? And Vincent Price is like, don't interrupt me, I'm soliloquizing. And it's so funny. I busted out laughing, and there are funny moments in this movie, and there are genuinely suspenseful moments too. It's a good throwback to the 60s and 70s horror Hammer films these three were involved in with a lot. And I think the scariest and most shocking scene for me involves this, there's an acid scene. Like that scene is very gruesome, and there's some surprisingly gruesome moments in this movie where they're trying to figure out who the killer is and people start getting picked off. And I like that aspect of the story. So there's some genuine suspense in the movie. If you're looking for something that's like going to scare you and chill you to the bone, this isn't really it. But then again, none of their movies have ever been truly terrifying. There are lots and lots of classics that have their place in horror history, but there's really only a handful that are truly terrifying. And House of the Long Shadows is is essentially a tribute to their collective careers and just plays all their strengths, and it's just a lot of damn fun. House of the Long Shadows was a great way for me to start off the year with a good horror flick. I could not recommend this more. I would definitely for sure get this on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray transfer is phenomenal. You can see everything that's happening in the dark. It's not grainy at all, and it doesn't lose any of its charm either. It's just a really fun horror movie. So, what's your favorite movie of these three actors? What's your favorite Hammer horror flick? Comment below, let me know. Have you seen House of the Long Shadows? What did you think of it? As always, thanks for watching, and I just launched my new merch store. You can check out the links to that below. My book, Night of the Half Angel, is available on ebook and paperback. Thanks as always for watching. Bye.